Day 11 of the YNW Melly trial had some intense moments. Juvy's mom took the stand to identify him as one of the deceased victims in the case. Sergeant Williams spoke more about his reconstruction and how confident he was that it was not a drive-by. And then the prosecution submitted over 500 pictures of Melly to really hammer it home that it's Melly's phone. And now that we have next week off, this jury is only thinking of how many pictures was on that phone, and they can't really deny that it's Melly's phone anymore. So yeah, it gets pretty interesting towards the end there. Let's get right into this video.
Jury entering.
Nice big yawn to start off the day for Melly.
Good morning, Sergeant. How are you?
Is that a light pink suit with the black shirt?
How are you able to get the approximate shoulder width of Mr. Thomas?
The medical examiner's office, they use a scale it's a big ruler that goes the length of the autopsy where the decedent is lying.
How did you rule out that someone was outside the car?
And that was explained in them also multiple times. It's the blood on the headliner, the lack of blood in the passenger side rear seat, and the GSR that was inside the vehicle.
Individuals have gone back and picked up casings from the scene. How would that affect ejection pattern recreation?
Individuals as in strangers?
4 people that were friends with the defendant. They went back to the side of the road.
Objection, Your Honor.
If individuals went and picked up...
Did she just call Melly short?
So if they were picked up, it could alter it, but at the end of the day, it still needs to be measured. The approximate distance is obviously going, as I said, this is a unique case where our shooting is contained to a vehicle. So we have known distances within the vehicle. We have known distances of not necessarily the arm, but we have a known distance of inside of the width of people. Stippling pattern that is on Christopher Thomas.
What makes this guy so good is how confident he's saying all this. The jury is probably like, oh shit, like whatever this guy says is the truth. I saw comments of people saying that yesterday, that this guy is like an expert even in the courtroom as well, like the way he even speaks.
You can tell that it wasn't shot from a mile away by the angle of it and its type of impact into the vehicle. As it loses its spin, it's going to start wobbling, and then eventually will start going its head over heel and then keyhole into its target.
Did you see any evidence of distant fire in this case?
No.
And could you describe his build?
He's slender, but he's tall but slender.
They give sidebar all the time, but I edited it out. Hit subscribe, by the way. 80% of you are not subscribed. I have an issue with that. So does my cat.
Now let's talk about the jury visit to this car, which I believe is at the courthouse property. Maybe we'll get a chance to see what's going on with that. But
Whoa. The jury's gonna see the car? Is that today?
You get an understanding of what the whole thing felt like. You get to see everything. And I think it's such a huge and an important thing that can happen for a jury, to, more than just the pictures, to actually be able to physically see with your own eyes all of the evidence that's being presented, including a car like this. I think it's going to be massive.
I always wonder how much Melly's paying these two fuckers right here. Well, actually, he's paying 3 lawyers. God, that monthly bill is probably fat. Have you ever been injured in a car accident? Did you think of hiring a lawyer? No? Why not? Because quite frankly, it's never been easier. With Morgan & Morgan, there's no need to visit a law office and sit through all these consultations. You can submit a claim and have a lawyer look over it with only 8 clicks on your phone. You can submit your case details, sign documents, upload medical records, all from your cell phone. And you can even text your lawyer if you need to throughout this whole process. Contacting a personal injury lawyer such as Morgan & Morgan is simply a no-brainer. It costs you absolutely nothing unless they win. So you don't even have to pay anything out of pocket up front. You have nothing to lose, and Morgan & Morgan can determine if you actually have a case or not. You know, boys, back when I was like 10 years old, I was walking in a restaurant and I got my whole arm burned off. And looking back at it, I wish my parents went with Morgan & Morgan to handle the situation. Don't overthink it. Take action to protect your rights, and Morgan & Morgan will fight to get the compensation that you deserve. Click the link in the description and follow your claim today. Here's the rest of the video. The surveillance footage of, I believe it's going to show the red car, is the worst surveillance footage I've ever seen in my life. It's just like 15 minutes of silence or something, and they're just going through the whole footage. You can barely make out these cars, I'm going to be honest, but whatever.
yeah, nothing really happening. I mean, it's hard to tell what we're seeing here. No indication that we're seeing the car that was...
Oh god, I think I heard about this. They're about to show like hundreds of pictures and videos of Melly to prove that it's his phone.
You can use it just to show ownership of the phone.
Ownership of the Snapchat account.
The ones with Sack Chaser and Juvy are wild though.
Many of them are either way before this incident or way after. I don't know what the relevance is.
Explain to me, she's trying to establish who owns the Snapchat account because there's a dispute as to ownership of the account.
Oh, this is for Snapchat account, okay. Melly's team objected to the relevancy and he is denying that right now.
Like he got 5 kids at the school pickup right now. Waiting.
What about someone having 5 kids?
Snapchat is based on what we just saw, whether it was the other gentleman or Mr.
What's the 403 analysis?
Well, the relevance is the 401 analysis.
Right, I heard 403. All right, so relevance on pass because they're trying to establish who owns the account. Okay. So the relevance objection's overruled.
If their purpose is to establish ownership because of who is depicted on the videos, that would be undercut if we're seeing other people depicted on videos.
You can argue that to the jury.
Okay, I mean, if you download some social media with millions of items of information and then come in here and cherry pick some to show, we need to see what they intend to play so that we can have some basis to either interpose an objection or not.
That's what they call a motion in limine. You file a motion beforehand, say, Judge, we need some determination as to all of these videos, which ones they're using or something along those lines, so we're not sitting in here while the jury's sitting in the jury room saying, what are they doing out there?
The relevancy or 403 objection becomes right because of what is ensued in the trial.
He looks annoyed. Judge looks annoyed.
And what is left to be proven. And that is our position, Your Honor. And it seems that they only have maybe 8 more and they're a second apiece. I'm not quite sure what the prejudice would be to having them go through them so that the court can see what it is.
Some of them don't even show Melly in them, so I get what his team's going for. Hold on, there's music in that, right? I thought they were like gonna try to not show any music.
Thank you.
So the one that we would have an objection to primarily is the one that they have 3 versions of towards the end with music lyrics in the background saying that end will kill you. That we think is objection.
I knew it.
It's not his voice, it's a song in the background.
But that is sent to one of the witnesses, and that is a threat to them, and also in addition to the incident we have here today.
What's the date on it?
11/22/18.
And now the state is claiming that the purpose for those highly prejudicial videos is to show that they were sent to a witness. When asked to prove that, the state has demonstrated that it was posted online and somebody responded to it, which is not what the state said. It doesn't show it's being sent to a witness, and it's not for the purpose of establishing his phone, that it's his phone, and it contains lyrics that are prejudicial, and we object on 403 grounds.
You're saying, though, the messages reflect that there's a threat?
Based on the time frame of when it was posted after the homicides, that it is something that should go before the jury. Defendant sent to Ms. Hamilton saying that Fort, also known as Portland, says that he saved the life of Mr. Jennings, and he's coming everywhere with him because if the crackers come grab him, it's my fault.
That is an incriminating message to send to your girlfriend after you might have killed someone.
To celebrate, which also helps show and support that the phone in date 64 belongs to the defendant.
I'm gonna be honest, if you don't think it's Melly's phone, you're just simply wrong. It's Melly's phone. His team's just doing their job to try to deny that it's his phone, but it's his phone.
There is no contextual reference of what it refers to. These people have known each other for a long time. Outside of that, the state has offered to play it without the prejudicial audio, and we think that would be an acceptable compromise.
Right now, I'm at like 95% that he has done it. Like I said, we live in a world of infinite possibilities, but we only have finite probabilities. And I think going to see this car, the pictures from the crime scene reconstructionist, I think some of the testimony from the undercover officer about gang culture, I think all of that is going to lead them to a decision that aligns more heavily with the prosecution.
Yeah, I agree.
They said that it might be off-putting to see somebody flaunting.
So he's fighting over money being in the pictures.
We think it's unnecessary.
Photographs with cash is 20 or so approximately. Sustained objection.
Okay, so we'll go through and then...
So he sided with the defense team about getting rid of the money?
The viewing of the vehicle today, and that's all they're going to do when we come back and play them. We might as well conclude and pick this thing up on the 10th when we return to demonstrate the dimensions of the inside of the cabin of the vehicle. If it is to do that, the jury going and viewing a vehicle with 5-year-old congealed blood in it, a total scene, we might very well be able to find a substitute automobile that is clean, that we can rent, that will serve the same purpose. So if the court is of the opinion that the state is entitled to have the jury examine the dimensions of the vehicle, they can do it in a clean vehicle where there's no prejudice.
Asked defense counsel numerous times if they want to view the vehicle and be able to make an accurate determination.
Telling me that it would basically be impossible to do a jury view today, that if they were going to do it, they needed time and wherewithal, a secure area.
The two teams were fighting over whether or not the jury was going to be able to see the car today, even though it wasn't even possible in the first place. Apparently the car is not ready to be seen yet.
The bottom line is that this is a tack we're seeing prosecutors take with prosecution of hip-hop artists throughout our country. We're seeing it a lot. They want to use the lyrics against them. They want to use the persona they've created against them.
The lyric battle in court is currently happening with Young Thug too. They're trying to use Thug's lyrics and shit.
But in reality, how is this any different than if John Travolta was charged with a crime, so they decided to show what Vincent Vega did in Pulp Fiction? That is what is going on with these hip-hop personas, and that is what rap lyrics most often are nowadays. Or Jay-Z, that you were listening to them tell the story of their lives. You're no longer getting that in rap music 99% of the time, and prosecutors should know that.
Bro just basically said there's cap rap. All these rappers are lying in their songs now. I think she just said they're bringing in Juvy's mom.
Yes, Judge. In fact, that was the reason we sought out Travion Blatz. after obtaining a new address. You specifically told him that we would only be calling him for the purpose of victim identification. He said even that he would not be willing to come and testify.
So they're talking about Trayvon Glass, who was one of the guys that was in the red car. They tried to get him to just identify the deceased, like on the stand, but he said no because he ain't trying to be, people could say that snitching, like even identifying.
We discussed Jamie King, the mother of our client, but we brought it to the court's attention immediately because we wanted permission of the court because she was listed as a state witness, indicating that she was under a criminal investigation, which would indicate that she would invoke her Fifth Amendment privilege. And now to hear that a witness has been sitting in this trial from day one.
So he's pointing out that Juvy's mom has been at the trial the whole time. Her testifying is an issue. And he just pointed out that Melly's mom was under criminal investigation at one point in time, which I think they were trying to charge her with like accessory after the fact, I believe. And there was like an incident where a detective like lunged at Melly's mom and like grabbed her hand, and she had to wear something on her wrist for like a few months. The detective was trying to grab her phone out of her hand.
They have not even inquired from the family about any distant relative, or I've not heard any proffer from them, or any friends of his.
I just heard her indicate 3 or 4 people that she
Those were all state witnesses that they have not been able to locate for 4 or 5 since the inception of this case. I don't represent them. I don't profess to represent them. I have not met them. But the witnesses that they have spoken about are all individuals that were at the studio or in one of the cars. Well, I think the case law is clear. That's frowned upon because of the potential, the emotional problem that would cause a mistrial.
Judge sided with the prosecution. He's going to let the mom come up.
And are you related to one of the decedents in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Who is that in that photograph?
Christopher Thomas, my son.
Stock Chaser, Portland. One of these 3 guys is Trayvon Glass, I believe, and someone with the last name Withers. There's the names of the guys that are in here. The state tried to get them to testify, but obviously they're not going to do that because they don't want to be snitches. Here's Melly. Juvy.
Did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep? Mm-hmm. And is that a yes?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Jamel.
And Jamel, is that the defendant, Jamel Demons?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know him by another name?
Melly.
And do you see Melly Jamel Demons in the courtroom?
Yes, I do.
And he's identified by article of clothing and where he's sitting in the courtroom?
He's sitting over there. He had on a tuxedo.
Ms. Phillips, we want to express our condolences to you.
Thank you.
All these lawyers had expressed our condolences to you. I mean, yeah, if they questioned her, it would have been probably pretty bad there. He's on FaceTime with Kodak. Is that Uzi? Wonder how he feels about seeing Juvy's mom up there and shit. God, like, imagine what's going through his head if he actually did it. Like, I can't stop thinking about these, like, possibilities. That's a label executive, I think. She's counting each picture. She's really trying to get her point across that this is Melly's phone to the jury. That's what she's doing. She's like, this is his phone. There's hundreds of selfies on it. Don't even have the question in your mind that it's not his phone. 500 pictures. It took like an hour and a half, I think.
Thank you.
He's laughing at a family member in the crowd, I think. All right, that's it for day 11. I think we got like 500 pictures or something submitted into evidence just to prove that it's Melly's phone. More testimony from the detective that was pretty convincing in my opinion. Juvy's mom came up and that was pretty intense too, like halfway through there. So next week when there's no court, I'll keep looking in the database. If there's anything that pops up for me to read for a video or anything, I'll keep covering this. If you're new to my channel, subscribe on my Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for all the support. Peace out.